Hi, I'm with Michael Kaldenbach, Digital Realities Leader at Shell today. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Aaron.
Michael, what was announced between Shell and RealWear in April?
In April, we announced the collaboration between RealWear and Honeywell in order to get our hands on the RealWear HMT-1 and HMT-1Z1 as a head-mounted display that we use in our operational field for augmented reality remote assistance.
So, Shell's been a leader of all things digital since the 70s. How's this global deployment fit in keeping Shell at the forefront in the leadership position of the industry?
Well, we see a change happening. We've seen the change happening from the PC to the mobile phone and the tablet, and we see another change happening with a hands-free, voice-driven capability. And the RealWear fits in that picture by allowing us to use this piece of hardware due to regulations we have in the energy industry. And RealWear having brought a piece of hardware to the market that we can safely use in our environment.
And in a public statement, you stated that this is the next era of computing. What does that mean at Shell, and what does this look like for a new era?
Well, as you can imagine, we as consumers and as enterprises, we've become used to using our hands, whether it's to operate a mouse or to use your thumbs to get access to the information. And what we're seeing now is this paradigm shift where the sort of spoken interface is becoming so much more intuitive that it's becoming much easier for us to gain access to information. And we're riding that wave as well. As you can imagine, when you're out there in the field and you need to do something, you want to have your hands free to do something and not be grabbing a tablet or mobile phone and then typing in what you want to do. Actually, you've got your work gloves on, you're actually trying to close something or operate something, but you still need that information. So by talking to it and then visualizing that information, you can continue without being interrupted, but still being supported by this digitalization capability.
Okay. Yeah, something that didn't make it into the press release is how the RealWear HMT-1 is advancing Shell's sustainability goals through global carbon reductions. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, the primary reason when we started the journey with RealWear is because we were targeting this service within Shell around augmented reality remote assistance. This means that experts that are all over the world are able to connect directly with operators out there in the field who can be oceans away. And if you can imagine that I'm out there in the field, I have an issue at that point in time, I do not know how to resolve that issue, but someone from Amsterdam or Houston office does know it. I can dial him or her into that call, and they can help me, they can assist me. They can draw in my line of sight all the necessary annotations and information I need to fix the issue. Now, in the past, we would have to actually fly people over in order to resolve situations. In this case, it is nothing more than a phone call like away, and we can still offer the same level of support, even better, using this kind of augmented reality. So we significantly reduce the cost of travel, but at the same time, we're also much quicker in resolving issues that might contribute to leaks or spills.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure this whole thing is quite the adventure for you guys. For others pondering a deployment of a wearable like RealWear, what advice do you have for them?
My advice would be to listen to the end users. I think in a lot of cases, everyone in the IT world, we get excited about these new capabilities, and we tend to be on the forefront of these technology developments. The user is focused on doing their day-to-day activities. So you have to listen carefully to them, what works for them, what makes this kind of capability fit in their day-to-day routine, and how does it really help them? And in the case of augmented reality remote assistance support, it significantly helps them because instead of having to consult manuals or go back to the office to make phone calls or Skype calls, they are on the spot there. So by listening to your users, you will quickly learn how this tool can help them.
And what are some of the examples of how RealWear can be used in the field?
Well, I've already told you about the augmented reality remote assistant, so probably it's good that I explain with a little bit of a scenario of how that actually works. So let's take the situation where something offshore happens. So you're out there in the North Sea on one of our rigs, and something happens. Usually in the control room, they have very nice dashboards, and an alarm goes off. At that point in time, the most senior operator, the control room operator, will send someone out there to check and to bring back information. Now, in the past, that happens over a portaphone or a walkie-talkie. Right now, we've replaced that with the RealWear, where the control room operator not only sees the dashboard, but then also has eyes on the situation. They can have a quick conversation and using the experience of the senior operator from the control room. At the point where it's easily resolved, fine, it's resolved. At the point where you need more expertise, at the same time, without any struggle, you pull in someone onshore, let's say from the Netherlands, since we're close to the North Sea, and have a three-way conversation, and you get the information, knowledge you need. So consider that. That's the augmented reality remote assist. Now, before that, you have a step. You as the operator are out there. You might not necessarily need an expert support if you have the ability to consume a quick video, for instance. YouTube is famous for Let's Plays, and myself as a programmer, I tend to go on YouTube to quickly see how have other people tackled the problem. So before I call an expert, I can also watch a short 30-second, 2-minute video clip and be assisted in that fashion. I can continue. The same way is if there are step-by-step instructions on how to do something, and I see those on my RealWear, I don't necessarily need support. I can just follow those step-by-step instructions. And that's really what we're trying to do, is close the skill gap. You at the moment might not know something, but through this method of consuming this digital content, you can quickly move forward further.
And what kind of environments are we talking about that the HMT works best for Shell?
Well, we have a very diverse industry, and Shell is a global organization, so we cover a wide variety of situations. But one of the reasons why we chose the RealWear is because of something in our industry called the ATEX certification, which dictates that we need intrinsically safe devices because the environments we operate in can potentially be dangerous. And we want to make sure that anything we bring into these situations or environments, that they are safe for us to use. And the HMT-1, Z1 is intrinsically safe, and therefore we can use it. So consider something like offshore. If something drops, you don't want it to break, you don't want it to create sparks, and the RealWear is such a device that we can safely use in our environment.
And finally, what outcomes do you predict would occur, or what you would hope to happen by deploying these devices globally?
Looking into the future, I'm hoping that this will revolutionize how we consume digital content. Again, I'm a firm believer in that we're at the cusp of that paradigm shift. It's going to take some time for us and the users to get adjusted to asking for information and then having it visualized in your line of sight rather than looking at your cell phone or computer. So looking a little bit into the future, I see this becoming ubiquitous. I see this becoming available to everyone, and it's becoming an intrinsically part of our operational world.
Great. Thank you so much, Michael, and best of luck with your project.
Thank you.